People-pleasing is something many of us struggle with. If you've ever found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no, or if you constantly worry about pleasing others at the expense of your own needs, it's time to just stop it. This video will dig a little deeper and ask you to acknowledge why you or someone else you know people pleases all the time. It will also show why people-pleasing is a form of manipulation, and most importantly, how it can be stopped. But before I get into this video, if you enjoy the varied content I create on my channel and you'd like to discover more, why not subscribe and hit the notification bell? This is a new channel, and I'm going to work hard to bring my knowledge and wisdom to you. Okay, so let's look a little deeper into what being a people-pleaser really means. The first thing to realize is people-pleasing is something that even affects famous celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence and Bella Hadid, who have publicly talked about the experience of being people-pleasers. They talk about the all-too familiar need for external validation and how they overcame their people-pleasing through therapy and their own success. In a nutshell, people-pleasing means being manipulated into putting the happiness of others over your own happiness. Some might say that's a good thing to people-please in the case of being a parent or a carer, but the layers in people-pleasing are deeper and generally start when we're young. This is when we learn to toe the line, aim to be good children, to receive the rewards of being good. Our families, schools, churches, and other major institutions have reinforced this people-pleasing and the need to be good in order to be accepted. What we then learn from this is the fear of being disliked, abandoned, shunned, and, in extreme circumstances, abused. This is a conditioning that sets us up for a life of people-pleasing that puts our own needs and opinions aside because we're worried or scared about how others will respond to us. Avoiding conflict, saying yes to everything, and feeling guilty when we try to stand up for ourselves then becomes automatic behavior, which in adult years is much harder to control because it becomes our subconscious behavior. Yet, on a conscious level, we know it doesn't make us feel good. However, one thing many don't realize is when we aren't happy and we feel forced to people-please because we've been manipulated to behave in that way, we then learn to be manipulative also. This is because we crave the praise, validation and gratitude of others to feel okay about ourselves and to feel safe. It becomes such a powerful need that we seek these responses so much that we set up situations to make sure it keeps coming. None of this is necessarily conscious because we become addicted to being seen, noticed, instead of shunned or frightened. This expectancy has surprising depths that many of us aren't even aware of, and its roots are always firmly planted in our fears. This fear has over decades been packaged and marketed to keep control by the few who know the power of the fear. Take the recent pandemic, when we were told that the COVID injectables would save our life, but that we were also doing it to save Granny. At any other time, if we were not schooled to toe the line and be good, very few would have signed up to the endless rounds of injectables, even after it was made clear that it didn't stop COVID. But here's the thing. Constantly putting others first can lead to burnout, resentment, and even a loss of our true self. And if this applies to you or someone you know, here are 5 practical steps on how to stop being a people pleaser. Number 1, recognize your patterns. The first step in breaking the habit is awareness. Start paying attention to when and why you say yes to things you don't really want to do. Are you afraid of disappointing someone? Or maybe it's a fear of rejection, or a fear that they may harm you in some way. Understanding your triggers is key to changing your response. Keep a personal journal. Write down situations where you feel pressure to please others and reflect on how it made you feel. If you want to take this further and into different areas, I suggest I Reclaim My Power, which is a guided self-journal that supports you to really discover yourself. And this awareness is the first step towards breaking the cycle. Number 2, set boundaries. Learning to say no is essential. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, saying no to others means saying yes to yourself. Remember to take small steps. Start with something simple like declining a meeting or turning down an invitation. The more you do it, the easier it gets. People who respect you will understand, and those who don't, well, they're not the right people to have in your life anyway, are they? Number 3, let go of guilt. People pleasers often feel guilty when they start asserting themselves, and it's natural at the start. But remember, by starting this process, guilt has no place, because guilt is an excuse to not take full responsibility. Furthermore, it's not your job to make everyone happy, and it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's absolutely necessary, because if you don't, who will? Number 4, prioritize self-care. If you're always busy pleasing others, when do you take time for you? Whether it's a hobby you love, a walk in nature, or just some quiet time to recharge, make sure you're filling your own cup. After all, you can't pour from an empty one, so filling yours is essential. Number 5, embrace your authenticity. Just stop worrying about what others think and embrace your authentic self. People pleasers often wear a mask, afraid to show their true feelings, but the most powerful way to connect with others is by being real. Those who don't want to see or know the real you shouldn't be in your life, because they have their own problems to solve. Being authentic will not only improve your self-esteem, but will also attract people who appreciate the real you, because they are resonating on the same wavelength. You don't have to be perfect or please everyone to be loved. You just have to be you. Bye for now.